I'm Jimmy DeYoung, and I would like to welcome you to this DVD that will tell you about our next trip to the land of the Bible, when we'll be visiting Israel and Jordan. We would love for you to be able to travel along with us. We'll be walking in the steps of Jesus Christ from his birth to his resurrection and ascension into heaven. We'll visit some very significant prophetic sites in the Bible land for a better understanding of his soon coming. I'll be giving my third temple seminar atop the Temple Mount in the city of Jerusalem. It is the most sacred piece of real estate in all of creation and the location where Jesus Christ will rule and reign forever. We'll have fun as well. We'll take a boat ride on the Sea of Galilee with a special bunch of St. Peter's fish right on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. And we'll continue our prophecy study tour on location in Petra Jordan. It is the most unique city in all of the world. We'd love to have you come along. I've asked the staff to put together a slideshow that will help you see some of the sites that we'll be visiting when we are in the land of the Bible. We hope and pray that we'll be able to walk together through these different sites. I always say to everybody who joins us on our trips to the land of the Bible that going into Israel or Jordan is like walking onto a stage where the actors have recently departed, but all of the props are still in place. We'll be walking among those props to help better understand our Bible, and in particular the prophetic scenario that can be found in God's Word. As we begin our trip, Jody of Joshua Travel will meet you in New York City as you board your flight to Ben Gurion Airport in Israel. You'll arrive the next day in the afternoon, and Judy and I will be there to meet you as we then make our trip up to Jerusalem. We'll stop for a short visit in the Shepherd's Fields, the biblical location of the birth of Jesus Christ. And then for a magnificent panoramic view of both the old city of Jerusalem and the new city as we make our way to our deluxe 5-star hotel. Then the next day it's Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Museum, to understand how the Jewish state is in existence today. We'll also visit the Shrine of the Book, an opportunity for you to view the Dead Sea Scrolls, which give us a biblical base for the state of Israel. And then in the afternoon, a visit to the Second Temple model, which will give understanding of Jerusalem at the time of Jesus Christ. We're going to make a trip up the Mediterranean coast to the city of Caesarea that was built by Herod the Great. From Caesarea, we travel to Mount Carmel, Mukraka, the site of the contest between the prophet of God, Elijah, and the prophets of Baal. On our journey over to Tiberias to spend the night on the shores of the Sea of Galilee, we'll stop by Cana of Galilee and talk about the first miracle of Jesus Christ. As we travel through the Galilee region, a location where Jesus Christ spent many of his days preparing a group of men to spread the gospel around the world. We'll visit locations like Capernaum, Caesarea Philippi. We'll even travel through the Golden Heights. This will help you to understand present-day activities and the conflict between the Syrians and the Israelis. It's going to be a wonderful lunch when we have St. Peter's fish on the shores of the Sea of Galilee just before we board our Jesus boat to cross over to Bethsaida, where Jesus Christ fed the 5,000 there on the slopes of the mountains in the Galilee. The next day, we start by traveling the Jezreel Valley to Megiddo. There we will visualize the Battle of Armageddon, as I teach from God's Word how Jesus Christ will conclude the 7 years of tribulation and then back to Jerusalem to begin his millennial kingdom. We'll be traveling on our desert day to the Judean Desert and the Dead Sea. We'll stop at Qumran, the location where they discovered the Dead Sea Scrolls. It will also be an opportunity for us to visit the waterfalls of En-Gedi, where David hid from King Saul. By the way, be sure to bring your bathing suit along. We're going to take a swim in the... Well, wait a minute. No, we'll take a float in the Dead Sea. You'll not be able to swim in the Dead Sea. For my third temple seminar, which begins on the Mount of Olives as we make our way over to the Temple Mount, down the same path that Jesus Christ made his triumphal entry. On the Temple Mount, the most sacred piece of real estate in all of creation, we'll talk about how preparations have been made for the building of the next temple in the city of Jerusalem. In the afternoon, we begin with a stop to the Garden of Gethsemane, on to Pilate's Judgment Hall. Then we walk the Via Dolorosa, and in our journey at the Garden Tomb for a time of communion at this very peaceful site. Day 9 and 10 of our trip to Israel will include a farewell banquet. After a day of light touring, you will board your plane back to New York City, except for those who will take our Jordan extension. We'll be going the next morning across the Jordan River, up the desert highway into Petra, where we will spend the night. And then we begin a thrilling day as we enter through the Seek, a high narrow gorge, into the majestic city of Petra. By the way, I believe, along with many other Bible scholars, that this is the city that God has prepared to house the Jewish people during the coming tribulation. After a night of reflection on our trip into Petra and a night of rest in Petra, we make our way to Mount Nebo, the location where Moses was able to view the Promised Land. From there, we'll go down to where the children of Israel crossed into the Promised Land. By the way, it is the same location where Elijah was caught up into the heavenlies, and it's exactly at that spot where Jesus Christ was baptized by John the Baptist. It will be a thrilling experience to stand at that location where these three great biblical events unfolded. Right after that, we make our way over to a beautiful hotel, in fact, the most beautiful hotel in the entire Middle East, on the shores of the Dead Sea. And the next day, after a leisurely morning on the shores of the Dead Sea, we depart from Jordan back into Jerusalem for an afternoon of last-minute sightseeing and shopping. And after a wonderful farewell dinner, it's time to go to the airport to board the plane back home to the United States. We would love to have you join us on our next trip to Israel. If you'd like information, you can call Jody. She can be reached at area code 423-821-3623. That's 423-821-3623. Or if you'd like to use the internet to find out more information about our trip to Israel and Jordan, go to www.joshuatravel, and that's one word, joshuatravel.com. You'll be able to get all the information you need to have to make your decision if you would like to join us as we travel together through the land of the Bible, through Israel and Jordan. Let me just say this. I'm honored that you are considering going with us to the land of the Bible. This is a unique opportunity where I have the privilege to teach in the greatest classroom on all of the earth. Jerusalem, the Galilee, all sections of Israel, and then over to Jordan. May I suggest you don't want to miss this trip. Whatever we can do to assist you in joining us on this special trip, we're ready to do. Please feel free to call Jody or see me in one of my meetings as we travel across the United States and around the world. You know, during our trip to Israel, we'll see Israel past, we'll touch Israel present, and we'll visualize Israel future. Thank you so very much for considering taking a trip with us to the land of the Bible. We look forward to sharing this venture of a lifetime with you. This is Jimmy DeYoung reminding you that Jesus Christ could come today. So let's keep looking up until...